So did you take those images from the magazines?
Yeah, different magazines.
Okay, and so you placed it on an A3 size board, is it correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So you needed to give if you want to give your client an impression about Victorian era, you really need to show more elements, okay? Not just the complete design, because what you're suggesting to the client that you're going to use the pictures from the magazines, okay, which are already completed. Instead of doing that, you need to collect bits and pieces which would relate to Victorian era. So remember those mood boards which I shown you on the session before?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Remember the session I recorded. So the mood board must have more imagery on it. So I just from Emily's permission, can I show Deborah your mood board, Emily?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so let's just have a look at the Emily's mood board, and you will see what I'm talking about. Okay, so that. Just give me a second. Okay, we have a new student who joined us. Ashley, how are you going?
Good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. Ashley, we're just discussing the first assessment.
Yep.
Okay, so, and I'm just showing some examples of students' work. Okay, so I'm just going to share this one. So Emily's done a beautiful job on the mood board. Now, guys, can you see it now?
Right, yes.
Okay, excellent. Deborah, can you see that mood board?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Okay, so can you see that she actually collected elements of the interior design for the mood board, and she didn't really focus on the interior design itself?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're mostly like wallpaper, number one. Then we have, you know, elements like a tableware, then swatches of a wood flooring, and etc. on the mood board, even the illustration. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to focus on. The other thing what you need to focus on is actually the color scheme for your ideas, because this is the one of the elements of design. Remember that table you did where all the elements of design are listed?
Yeah.
So there is color is one of the elements. So you basically on your mood board, you need to represent all of those design elements. Okay. Now the speech is beautiful. So all you need to do is just improve your mood board a little bit more, add more imagery to it, and give your client a better idea how you're going to translate it into the modern interior design. Now, if we look at the second mood board, which you done, which is pretty much, we have the same story here. So if we just have a look at this one, guys, together. Okay, can you see your second mood board, Deborah?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay, so basically what you put here is 4 images of what is the historical period? What is the period in particular?
It's just general, this one. I guess I just choose the year rather than a specific era.
You should focus on a specific style and a specific decade at least. So if you make it more narrow, it will be easier for you and easier for client to understand. So for example, if you call it 50s or 60s, okay?
Yeah.
If you call it, say, streamline, if you call it modern, if you call it, you know, Art Deco, Art Nouveau, you know, all of those styles are actually applicable to interior design, and you can put them up on that table, which is in the sessions. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
So a little bit more work, and as soon as you finish, you can just resubmit it for me. Okay?
Sure.
Do you have any more questions?
No, I don't have any more questions.
Okay. Guys, do you have any questions?
No.
Is it Ashley? Hello?
Are we talking about the assessment 2 piece today?
Yeah, we can. Yes, absolutely. I wanted to talk about it too. Yes.
I have a couple of questions on that. Are we moving on to that, or?
Yes, let's talk about it.
Okay, so my questions were just with part A firstly, where we have to just sketch the sofa that we find. Once we do that on an A3 sheet of paper, firstly, like how big are you expecting? Should we take up almost the whole A3 piece of paper, so it's quite a large sketch? And then the second question is, to actually submit that, is it fine to take a photograph of that and submit it that way?
Yes, it would be fine. I'm just going to share the assessment task with you so we all can read it and understand what Emily's talking about. Now, Deborah, did you have a chance to look at the assessment number 2? Or you're not up to that stage yet? Hello? Okay, well, let's just have a look together. So what it's asking you to do, illustrate the sofa on a single A3 size sheet with the title of a period, the name of a sofa, the name of a designer, and the date of a construction, if known. Include a written summary of the major design influence and period explaining how they are expressed in this particular piece, and show your presentation is supportive of the period styling. Now, so this is the one single sheet of A3, which must have all of those elements which are asking you here to do. So you need to have all that text, obviously. Name of a designer, date, construction, if known. Then you need to write a summary. So don't do very long summary. Do like 150 words, 250 words.
Okay.
And the period styling. So what is it they're actually asking you? The presentation is supportive of period styling. So if you think it's necessary, you can actually source some images and place it on that board as well with your sofa. What it will give me is an impression of, first of all, the textile used, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The furnishings used, the whether it's wood, whatever material you use there, okay? It would be good to have some swatches. Maybe some illustrative, illustrate some parts of a sofa as well, maybe just photographs, small photographs or close-up details as well. That will show me the support of a period style. Okay. So to your question, whether it needs to be taken the whole A3 size, no.
Okay. Okay, so we can actually also include some images so that we find on the web or whatever. We can include a couple of them actual photographs to support this part A.
Yes, it's kind of like a presentation of a piece of furniture if you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. Okay, great.
And the summary, and obviously put your name there pretty, and put the name of a designer as well. So it's like a header for the board, okay?
So, sorry, I just want to clarify, everything will be on that A3. All that stuff, all the information will be on the A3 paper?
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
So in the part B, what you need to do is manipulate the elements and principles of design and explore how the sofa armchair could be refinished two-dimensionally in the manner typical of period. So you need to do 17 thumbnail sketches showing options for alterations. Okay. So basically your thumbnail sketches can go in your journal, and you can just take a photograph of it. And then we will discuss it together. Okay, well, with me, obviously. Then you can discuss with your friends and family. And we can select a sketch which will be the most responsible for the new design of the sofa. Okay. And
So,
then,
and that,
yeah.
Sorry, Polina, and that new sketch, that's going to be also typical of that same period. It's not like we're redesigning the sofa so it becomes more modern or anything. It should be of the same period. Is that right?
Yes, it must be. So your final piece must have an influence on the expression of the first piece. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's basically, it must have an influence, but it shouldn't be the same.
No, but should it be like modern though suddenly, but just inspired by that period, or it should still look like that's a piece of furniture you would get in that period?
No,
You know
it should be something that inspired you.
And that you would find in a modern home, for example, today.
For example, modern home, but not necessarily modern home. You can use the same style, but put it into different perspectives. Not this modern, it could be 50s, 60s, 70s.
Okay.
So it's basically the piece which inspired you to create a new piece of furniture, okay?
Okay. But it doesn't have to, like, say I chose a sofa from the Victorian era and I sketched that in part A, but then part B, for example, my new, you know, the alterations I make and the new sofa, even though it might be inspired by the Victorian era, it doesn't have to still specifically be something you would find in the Victorian era.
No.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
And that's the whole purpose of this exercise that you, like in here in the section 3. So you need to illustrate new image of sofa on a single A3 sheet with title, your name and date of redesign. Again, the same written summary concept explaining how the changes made influence expression of a piece and the layout supportive the concept. What I suggest, you actually use the same layout as you did in the first A3 sheet. Okay, and do the second one, but with your own vision for that sofa in the same layout, in the same style. So where you have the text in the same place, where you have the name, etc. So it looks cohesive. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, and then in the part C, you basically need to do a 3-dimensional piece. Okay, so with the 3-dimensional piece is in the single A3 sheet with title, the photograph, model, your name and date, redesign, include written summary. Okay, explaining. Use a layout, exactly the same layout you're using. And then you need to do a oral presentation as well. Now, with the oral presentation, sometimes it's so hard to catch up with the students. I suggest you type it down and upload it all together with your assessment. Okay?
Okay.
So we don't have to do an oral presentation?
I would love you to do the oral presentation if we can. Yes, of course, it would be beautiful. I love you talking, guys, and I love talking to you because it's more face-to-face communication. It's easier to translate the ideas. But if you can't do it, I would just have it in the written form.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So with the 3-dimensional, I mean, that's the most trickiest part I found. Here is basically you need to initially draw 7-10 thumbnail sketches showing options for alterations. So obviously your sketches must be in perspective. Okay, so they must look 3-dimensional. So then select thumbnail sketches, generate the most responsive redraw, working up to 3 alteration. So basically here, your model might show appropriate finishes, so you can build all white model devoid of texture, color, and pattern, indicating the finishes on your A3 layout in some other manner. Sample so images, for example. Now, what I suggested to students to do your 3D model in is you can use paper, you can use cardboard, or you can use foam core, which you can buy in Officeworks and other shops. You can also use plaster as well, but make sure that you put chicken wire inside or some kind of wire so it won't collapse. The other modeling, you can use modeling clay, which you can buy in Spotlight, I think in bricks. One kilogram is something like $7. So modeling clay can be painted as soon as it's dry. And so the same with foam core, and so the same with paper. Okay.
How big should this model actually be? Like, is it supposed to be a life-size model? Like,
no, the model must be big enough for you to illustrate the quality of the piece. So
okay.
I would assume it shouldn't be smaller than A5 size, because it will be too hard for you to put furnishings on it. Now, you don't need to paint it. You don't need to paint it. You can keep it white, and you can just source some images of a textile you want to put on it, okay? And just present it separately on A3 sheet with a title, photograph of a model. Because basically what we're asking you to do is take a picture of a model. Okay. So how big you want to make it, it's totally up to you. You can make it real size if you can.
Actually, I think that would be a bit hard using clay.
Yeah, no, don't do it in clay. You can do it in real materials.
If I like the idea of doing clay though, if I was to do it clay, could I just do that and then not paint it or change the color of it or anything, but include swatches and include how I would, you know?
Yes, absolutely. You can do it all in white model as it says here.
Yeah.
Or you can do all in white model, but you would need to show textures, color pattern, indicating the finishes. So if you want to have some wood in your piece, so you need to put some swatches of wood. What kind of wood? If you want to have like stainless steel, maybe copper, who knows? So you need to put swatches in, okay? And so the same for textiles. And then take a picture of a model. When you're taking a picture of a model, take not just one picture. Take multiple pictures. So have a look how they present sofas in the catalogs of a designer catalogs when they sell it. So it's a 3D image, obviously. And then you have a picture of kind of 3/4, then full front, then full size, and full back. Okay? And also the top image. So you're basically taking pictures from all the sides of your model. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Ashley, do you understand?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so I can just show you what it's called. It's called orthographic projections. And you will be studying it later in your units. So just a quick illustration. I'm just going to share it with you because that's more explanatory. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. Okay, so can you see on that image that we have 3D representation on the left? Can you see that, guys?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
This is the front of your sofa. This is the right side. This is your top side. Now, you take a picture of that 3D representation plus all of those top, front, and right side. and left one if you need to. Okay. So this is what we call orthographic projections. That's the best representation of the three-dimensional object. Okay. Oh, here's with the chair. It's better. Oh, it's too small. Can you see it, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So with the chair, it's more explanatory. So this is your three-dimensional picture, and then you have your front, side, and another elevation. What do you call back? Oh, that's the top. Okay. So basically taking picture from all the projections. Yeah, so that's from with the house. So you can see this is mostly mechanical parts and cars, etc. Okay, do we have another question? Ashley, how are you going with your sessions?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I think I'm starting to get a bit behind on the first session. But then again, I've only just started, so.
Okay, so what's the problem with the first session?
I think just I work full time, so it's just finding time after work to be able to fit the stuff in, the activities in.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, it's always hard to juggle, but that's why you take an online course.
Yeah.
So you can fit it in at any time you can. So
yeah.
With oral presentation in general, for all your pieces you do, guys, don't write more than A4 size piece of paper. Okay? And just be very particular of what you're saying. So go point by point. Okay?
Okay.
Now, Emily, do you have any more questions?
No, I don't think so. No, that's all been covered. Thank you.
No worries. So now remember, I'm going to go to the ePortfolio. I'm going to put some feedback if you want to share your activities with me. Okay, if you want to share that in ePortfolio. Now, as I said before, ePortfolio for teachers is important in a way. If I'm struggling to decide on the mark on the assessment, I go back to ePortfolio and I see whether the student actually covered those problematic areas in which I'm struggling to mark on the assessment. So ePortfolio for me is kind of like a support on the decision I'm making on the final mark on the assessment. Makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's still not the major requirement. So the major requirement is still the assessment task. So that won't change. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. So how do you find it, Emily? Are you enjoying it?
Me, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think like this assessment 2 is going to be a bit more challenging for me because like I was saying last week, I'm really not a very good sketcher. Although I've just been doing the journal entry 5, the sketches of the chairs, and I'm quite impressed with myself.
Excellent.
They're still not good at all, but better than I thought. So yeah, I think you know, assessment 2 will be a bit more challenging, but yeah, I'm really enjoying everything so far.
Yes, you should try to do some, you know, sketches from real life, like whatever you see. Just if you're relaxing or you're sitting down and just try to sketch anything. And that will loosen up your hand movements.
Okay,
and do not try to, you know, make it perfect, or do not try to make it look exactly the way it looks that much. So don't struggle too much. Just try to enjoy the process first.
Okay, great.
Yeah, because what I found with the students is that most of the time they're actually real good drawer. Anyone can draw. I also lecture in visual arts and I teach visual arts. So anyone can draw. And the problem is that people just cannot switch off from what they see to what they draw. Okay, so the most important thing The most important thing when you draw is actually relax and try to translate it instead of copying it 100%. Hello, can you hear me?